Netflix has been ramping up its programming slate in a big way in recent years, for better and for worse. There have been hit series that make it a must-subscribe, like Orange is the New Black and Stranger Things, but there have also been a lot of projects that were severely overhyped. No entertainment giant is perfect, and with that in mind, here's a look at some Netflix originals that didn't live up to the hype. Marco Polo. Marco Polo was hyped by Netflix as, quote, a timeless tale of power, adventure, betrayal, and lust that combines deft storytelling and cinematic ambition. Despite all that lofty language, however, the series was a bona fide flop. Sure, the show did earn some points for boasting a culturally appropriate cast, and the company's CEO lauded its popularity and called it a massive success, though the 24% Rotten Tomatoes score for the show's first season suggests critics thought otherwise. After 2 seasons, Netflix couldn't continue funding the series and canceled it with a reported $200 million loss to show for all their efforts.
Why do we need more? I will tell you. Because that is what comes next.
Sense8. When the Wachowskis set out to make their first small-screen series, their names alone were enough to draw some enthusiastic interest in the sci-fi show. It certainly didn't hurt that Sense8 was met with mostly positive reviews and was recognized by the GLAAD Media Awards for its inclusion of LGBTQ characters. After 2 seasons, however, Netflix decided to pull the plug on the series. The show simply didn't attract enough of a following to justify its cost of about $9 million an episode. Following a roaring audience reaction to the show's cancellation, Netflix did decide to bring it back for a single 2-hour finale episode to offer closure. The Get Down. The 70s-set musical drama cost a whopping $120 million to make, making it Netflix's priciest series up to that point. The streaming service also pulled out all the stops to promote The Get Down, including using graffiti art in big cities. The investment appeared sound, and favorable reviews certainly seemed to echo that. However, the show's viewership didn't quite measure up to expectations, with just over 3 million pairs of eyes tuning in during the first month of its run. The show's failure to match the ratings of far less expensive original series meant it was predictably canned after a single 2-part season.
You made it this far. Just keep loving me and I promise it's gonna all be alright.
Marvel's Iron Fist. Netflix had been on a roll with its Marvel adaptations, but Iron Fist was met with stunning disfavor despite being heavily binged upon release after a bevy of pre-release hype comparing the series to its well-liked predecessors. Some critics declared the inaugural season a directionless snooze fest, while others took umbrage with the appeal of the title hero himself. It didn't help that the show was also beset with allegations of cultural appropriation. Iron Fist critical whomping didn't spark a downward trend for the streaming service's Marvel shows to come, but Season 1 showrunner Scott Buck was still replaced for the eventual second season.
Let's go, you don't belong here.
I'm Danny Rand.
Disjointed. It isn't just punnery to say that Netflix had high hopes for Disjointed. The pod-centric series featured Kathy Bates as a cannabis shop owner and was spearheaded by TV sitcom giant Chuck Lorre. In other words, it was a stoner show with solid talent in front of and behind the cameras. What could possibly go wrong? Well, despite some stylish marketing efforts that included branded marijuana strains being doled out at a pop-up dispensary, the series simply failed to resonate with its intended audience. Critics found it to be plagued by obvious jokes and a scattered plot that unfortunately made good on the series' name, and the show ended up being the worst-reviewed series of the summer. After a 2-part season, the show was unceremoniously snuffed out by Netflix.
I am cool. You know why? Because I don't take pot. Pot is lame.
Bright. This late 2017 sci-fi fantasy movie was the focus of a massive bidding war that resulted in Netflix forking over $90 million for the rights. Bright featured Will Smith and Joel Edgerton as cross-species buddy cop leads, specifically a human and an orc, both serving as an extended metaphor for real-life racial tensions. Despite an aggressive front-page promotional push by Netflix, the reviews for the film were an absolute bloodbath. Even so, Netflix wasn't deterred by the bad buzz and decided to greenlight a sequel.
Oh, and you keep doing all your gangster stuff. I'm just trying to sell my house.
The Cloverfield Paradox. With the 3rd installment in J.J. Abrams' loosely connected series of Cloverfield films, it was the method of delivery that felt like a big power play. Netflix dropped the film's trailer during the 2018 Super Bowl and revealed that it'd be available for streaming just after the game was over. Thanks to the unexpected success of the first sequel, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and the depth of talent in Paradox's cast, the film was watched by 5 million people during its first week online. Despite that savvy marketing, though, the film was absolutely eviscerated by critics who were even more disappointed in the film after its major marketing splash.
Tell them not to come back! Tell them not to come back! Do you hear me? Tell them not to come back!
Mute. Duncan Jones waited a long time to make Mute, the so-called spiritual sequel to his stunning 2009 sci-fi film Moon. When Netflix finally helped usher the 16 years in the making movie into reality, Jones fans were definitely paying attention. Perhaps Jones should have let the film percolate a few more years, however, because the final product was lackluster, to put it kindly. After all that build-up, what resulted was an ultimately lifeless, disorganized, and derivative film that didn't come anywhere near living up to the expectations set by its creator.
It's hard to be this good looking. It's a responsibility.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.